Will you ever own an EMTB, a pedal assist MTB? Have you been on one?
Yeah. So like I made a video of one a couple months back, and I've ridden them twice overall, just at Crankworks, and yeah, they're kind of interesting. Like,
will you ever own an EMTB, a pedal assist?
I think they have a place. I think they have a place right now. They're not allowed in the national forests and stuff where I like to ride, because there's a sign in the gate that goes across that says no motorized vehicles, and that's the line to be drawn. And the complication is, where do you draw that line once you break that line?
Will you ever own an e-bike, an EMTB?
I don't really have a problem with owning an e-bike. I've thought about it. For me, it's just about cost.
Will you ever own an EMTB, a pedal assist?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. I would own one right now if IBIS made them, because I'm an IBIS sponsored rider, and I bet I could say like, is it okay if I get an e-bike kind of thing? But I love it. It's just the cost. It's really a tough thing to come up with $9,000.
Will you ever own an EMTB, a pedal assist?
Hell yeah,
boy.
Dude, I would like to get one right now. If I didn't have like 5 bikes of my own in the garage and then like 4 of my wife's bike in the garage, I would probably have one. But yeah, I just can't do that right now.
Will you ever own, or can you give me an opinion on EMTB? You think you're ever going to own one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that there's a controversy. I think people will get upset about anything, and
great.
Oh, people will just. I mean, like, that's just a human quality. It's like, wait a second, I went this whole day and I didn't get upset about it.
I've been waiting for this question. Will you ever own an EMTB?
What do you think the answer is? Enter every explicit you know and say no. No.
So it's okay with cars, but now with mountain bikes.
Yes, absolutely.
Square that with me, young man.
Well, let me get on my soapbox, sir. Okay, first
step up.
Why I always say no for mountain bikes is I'm not against e-bikes. If anybody, Matt, if you have an e-bike, if anybody has an e-bike, you're my friend. I don't care.
3.
I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, guys. Good night. See you later. Gosh. 3?
But do I have anything against e-bikes? No. I think it's amazing. I know many people that have benefited from it, and I kind of think there definitely needs to be some laws to help define everything. But no, I think e-bikes are awesome.
EMTB, yes or no?
Without a doubt, yes.
Will you ever own an EMTB?
I mean, if I could afford one, I'd have one right now.
Will you ever own an EMTB?
100%. I want it to be my next bike.
Okay.
I mean, and for me, it's not that I would ever get rid of my analog bike. Acoustic bike. I would never get rid of it.
No.
Will you ever own an EMTB?
It doesn't fit like what I do. It's like the same reason I don't have a downhill bike, right? I would rent a downhill bike if I was like a Whistler or something like that. Does that make sense? So
yeah, it does.
It doesn't fit in my stable, basically.
Will you ever own an EMTB?
I could see it happening.
Will you ever own an EMTB?
There's one in the garage, and I've been using it for trail building and accessing stuff up in the mountains mostly for trail building, and then my wife rides it quite a bit so we can ride together.
Good deal. Will you ever, each one of you, and I'm going to let Beth go first, will you ever own an EMTB, a pedal-assisted mountain bike?
Yes, I would. I don't have a problem with them as long as they're. I know this actually might just end our marriage, not the podcast.
So I would put it this way: there's like an amazing spot to ride about 45 minutes from here called Moose Mountain. Again, a very freaking Canadian name.
I saw it on Wikipedia today.
Yeah, it's a shuttle mountain, but the shuttle road doesn't open until, I don't know, like late May or something like that. But the trails are ready to go since April or early May. And so if I had an e-bike to go and like basically shuttle myself up the road over and over again to do the shuttle laps, sign me up. That sounds amazing.
Will you ever own a pedal assist mountain bike?
For sure. I did a project with Bosch back in October, and I went to their headquarters in Southern California, and they gave us all these rad full suspension Bosch mountain bikes. We got to ride with Hans Ray and Troy Lee, and we were just at this mountain bike park outside, I don't know where it was, called Skyview or something, and we rode these bikes up and down and up and down. It felt like skiing. We got to do so much more than we would have if we were pedaling real bikes.
If I think of getting an e-bike, or I tell any of my friends from New Jersey about an e-bike, they're like, that's the stupidest thing ever. And I used to think like an e-bike's so dumb. I don't want to go ride the trails I've ridden for 20 years in New Jersey on an e-bike. But when I go to Pisgah and you climb a fire road for an hour and 40 minutes to get a 5,000 foot descent on a super gnarly downhill, and it's just a one direction downhill, you're kind of an idiot to sit there and pedal your bike up there for an hour and 40 minutes and take one run in a day than getting on an e-bike and doing two, if that's the way you're going to build trails. You know what I mean?
Will you ever own an EMTB?
So, and this is the outdoor gold portion of the EMTB. I would like to own an EMTB, and I probably will someday.
Will you ever have an a pedal assisted mountain bike?
Yes, definitely.
Julio?
I think so. I think I would. Yeah.
Will you ever own an EMTB?
Absolutely.
The question basically is this: will you eventually own an e-bike, Jackie?
I don't see myself owning one anytime soon.
I've said this before in one of my videos, and I just think that it's good. I mean, there are people that I race with, or friends that I know that have e-bikes who race, and they use those bikes because it helps them when they're going super fast, corner better.
Will you ever have an EMTB?
Absolutely. Especially, yeah. I'm just gonna say, yeah, sometime this year, something will be in the works for an EMTB.